Hello, amazing learners, and welcome back to English in Advance. I'm Jennifer, and today we're diving deep into a topic many of you have asked about, something truly close to the heart of every English learner: how to truly improve your English speaking skills. It's about moving from simply understanding English to confidently expressing yourself, from just knowing words to using them with natural ease and fluency. You know that feeling, don't you? It's a common challenge, almost like a secret club for intermediate English speakers, a phase many people go through. You've worked hard, you understand almost everything you hear in English, you can read articles, enjoy books, and follow news online without too much trouble. But then, when it comes time to speak, to have a real, spontaneous conversation, the words just get stuck. You hesitate, your mind races as you search desperately for the right words, the correct grammar, the perfect phrase, and sometimes the sheer pressure of the moment just makes you give up and stay quiet. That silence can feel heavy, leaving you wishing you could just say what's truly on your mind, share your thoughts, or tell a story without all that internal struggle. This whole experience is completely normal. And honestly, it's a shared journey for so many English learners around the world. It's a bit like learning to ride a bike. You might have watched countless videos, read every manual, and understood the exact theory of balance: how to pedal, how to steer, and how to stop. You have all the knowledge. But until you actually climb onto that bicycle, start pedaling, feel the wobble, maybe fall a few times, scrape a knee, and then get back up, you won't truly learn to ride with confidence and joy. Speaking English is precisely the same. It needs real, active practice, a good amount of courageous effort, and a smart, consistent approach using the right steps. It demands that you get on the bike, even if you wobble a bit at first. So today, let's unlock your speaking power together, transforming that hesitant voice into one that speaks with ease, clarity, and genuine confidence. Let's make English not just something you know, but something you do, something you live. Before you can truly speak English well, before those words can flow freely from your mind to your mouth, before you can engage in lively, meaningful conversations, you must consistently feed your brain with high quality English input. This isn't just about having English playing in the background as you cook dinner or tidy your apartment. It's about active, intentional listening. Let me tell you a story about Maria, a bright and determined student I once worked with. Maria absolutely loved American TV shows. She'd often have them playing while she was doing chores around her apartment, casually catching bits and pieces of dialogue. She understood the main story well enough, she laughed at the jokes, and she followed the characters, but she started to notice that her own speaking skills weren't really improving at the same pace. Her vocabulary wasn't expanding as much as she hoped, and her pronunciation felt stagnant, not quite natural, a little flat. I suggested to her, Maria, try picking just one 20-minute episode, and this time, make it your primary focus. Don't just hear the words, listen deeply to how they're spoken. Listen for the rise and fall of their voices, the way certain words are emphasized, the speed at which they talk, the pauses they make, and even their emotional tone. And that seemingly small shift in her listening habits, from passive background hearing to active, engaged listening, made a huge, noticeable difference in her speaking progression. It was like suddenly having a secret key. So, how can you begin to practice this active listening like Maria did? First, and this is key for staying motivated over the long haul, always choose things you truly, deeply enjoy. If you pick content that feels boring or like a chore, something you wouldn't normally watch or listen to, you'll quickly lose interest and stop practicing altogether. Whether it's podcasts that grab your attention, YouTube channels dedicated to your favorite hobbies, perhaps cooking, gaming, travel, history, or science, inspiring talks like TED Talks, or even specific movie scenes from your favorite films that you've watched many times, pick something you genuinely like. When you're interested, when you're truly enjoying the content, your brain naturally pays more attention and it becomes much more receptive to soaking up the language. This isn't passive background noise anymore. It transforms into an engaging, active learning session disguised as pure entertainment. Think of it as inviting English into your life in a way that feels enjoyable, natural, and something you look forward to, not like another piece of homework you have to do. Make English a part of your pleasure, a part of your daily joy, not just your study routine. As you listen, move beyond just understanding the words and start to truly notice the tune and rhythm of English. Every language has its own unique musicality, its own melody, its own flow, and English is no exception. It's like a song. Pay close attention to how native speakers raise their voice for questions. For example, listen to the difference in sound when someone asks, "Are you coming?" The voice typically goes up at the end, signaling a question, inviting a response. Compare that to how it sounds when they make a simple statement, such as "You are coming," where the voice usually goes down at the end, indicating finality, a complete thought. Also, listen carefully for how certain words are stressed to make them important, because this subtle emphasis can completely change what a sentence means. Considered a classic example. "I didn't say he stole the money." Here, stressing "didn't" implies that someone else said it, not me. Now, compare that to "I didn't say he stole the money," which suggests that perhaps someone else, not he, was the one who stole it. These small shifts in stress carry significant meaning, emotion, and often intent. Your goal is to try and copy these small but powerful patterns when you speak. This will not only make you sound far more natural and fluent, but it will also help you say exactly what you mean, making your communication clearer, more effective, and more engaging for your listeners. It adds a layer of depth to your speech. And here's your secret tool, something that feels a bit like magic for your speaking skills, a powerful shortcut to sounding more native: shadowing. This technique involves finding a short piece of audio, perhaps just one or two sentences, or a short phrase, or even a line from a movie or a news clip, from a native speaker whose voice you like and understand. Listen to it very carefully, focusing on every single sound, every pause, every stress, every change in tone, every little nuance. Then immediately try to repeat it, speaking at the exact same time as the speaker, like a close echo. Your goal is to copy their pronunciation, their speed, and their overall tune as closely as you possibly can. It's like being a precise echo, trying to blend your voice with theirs. Yes, it might feel a bit silly at first, doing this imitation almost like you're trying to be someone else, but it's an incredibly strong and direct way to train your mouth and brain to produce authentic English sounds and rhythms. You're physically practicing the small, precise movements of English speech, which builds crucial muscle memory for your tongue, lips, and vocal cords. You're literally teaching your mouth how to form English words naturally and effortlessly, without conscious thought. Think of it as a vocal workout. Start with short phrases, then gradually build up to longer sentences or even entire short paragraphs. The more you shadow, the more natural English sounds and feels when you speak it yourself, and you'll find yourself speaking with greater confidence and ease, almost as if the words are flowing without effort. This practice, when done regularly, truly rewires your brain to produce native like speech patterns. This point is, without a doubt, the most important one I can share with you today because it addresses the biggest, most common barrier many of you face: the fear of making mistakes. This fear holds countless learners back, trapping their potential. It's a heavy weight on your shoulders. People hesitate, they overthink every single word before it even leaves their mouth, trying to make it perfect, trying to avoid any error, and often, because of this intense fear, they simply don't speak at all. Or they only use very simple, safe sentences that don't truly express their rich thoughts and complex ideas. This fear is a huge, invisible wall that prevents progress, keeping you from reaching your true speaking potential. I recall another student, Kenji, who was truly brilliant at grammar. He could ace any written English test you put in front of him, flawlessly correcting sentences and understanding complex structures with ease. He knew all the rules. Yet in class, when it was his turn to speak, especially if it was an open question or a chance to share his opinion, he would get red, whisper his answers almost silently, or sometimes not speak up at all, even when he knew the correct response. His fear of being wrong, of being judged by me or by his classmates, was clearly stronger than his desire to communicate. He was so worried about making an error that he chose silence instead. One day, after class, I sat down with him and told him, "Kenji, please understand this deeply because it's vital for your progress. Every single mistake you make isn't a failure, it's actually a stepping stone. It's clear evidence that you are trying, that you are pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, and it points directly to where you need to improve next. Mistakes are simply feedback." This perspective shift, this change in how he saw his errors, truly changed everything for him. He started seeing mistakes as helpers, not hurdles. So, how do we begin to welcome these so-called mistakes into our learning journey? How do we turn them into allies instead of enemies? First, you must fundamentally change your way of thinking about them. See mistakes not as embarrassing problems or signs of personal failure, but as incredibly valuable feedback. Think of them like a GPS navigation system. If you take a wrong turn while driving, the GPS doesn't yell at you, it doesn't judge you, it doesn't shame you. It simply says calmly, "Recalculating," and then shows you a new correct path. In the same way, if you use the wrong verb tense, your mistake is just the GPS saying, "Recalculating, you need to focus on that tense next." Excellent! Now you know precisely what to focus on in your study time. Did you say a word incorrectly or stumble on a sound? Wonderful. That's a gift. Look it up, listen to how it's said correctly, practice it a few times, and next time, you'll be one step closer to getting it right. Every single mistake is a strong, personalized lesson tailored just for you. They show you exactly what to study, what to practice, and where to invest your energy most effectively. Next, you need to start small but speak often. This is about building momentum and comfort little by little. Do not wait for the perfect moment or for your English to be perfect before you begin speaking. Trust me, that day will simply never come because even native speakers are always learning and refining their language, making little slips and errors here and there. Begin with low-pressure practice situations. This is crucial for building initial confidence without too much stress. Speak to yourself in the mirror, describing what you see around you, narrating your actions. Record your voice on your phone as you talk about your day, or tell an imaginary friend or even your pet what you're doing out loud. I'm making a cup of coffee right now. First, I turn on the electric kettle. The water is getting hot. Now I'm putting the coffee grounds into the filter. I smell the rich aroma of the coffee beans. Ah, this is a perfect start to my afternoon. The more you produce language, even if it's just for yourself in private, the more comfortable and natural it will become. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger and more flexible it gets. Remember, at the start, practicing often is much, much more important than being perfectly correct every single time. 100 imperfect sentences spoken with brave effort are far, far better than one perfect sentence that was never even attempted due to fear. Action over perfection, always. Ultimately, your highest goal should always be communicating your message, not absolute grammatical perfection. The primary purpose of any language, whether it's English, Spanish, or Bengali, is to share your ideas, thoughts, and feelings, and to be understood by others. As long as your core message is getting across, as long as people understand what you're trying to say, you are succeeding. You are achieving the main goal of language. Think about it. Even native speakers make mistakes all the time in their own language. We just call them slips of the tongue or brain farts or misfires. These are natural parts of spontaneous speech, little moments of human error. Do not ever let the fear of a small grammar mistake, a slight mispronunciation, or a forgotten word stop you from sharing a great idea, telling a funny story, or simply joining a conversation. Your voice, your thoughts, and your message are far more important and impactful than a misplaced article or a slightly off verb ending. Embrace the process, be kind to yourself, and let your powerful desire to connect with others drive your speaking journey forward. The more you speak, the less those fears will hold you back. You are growing with every single sound you make. This is truly where the real work happens, where all the listening and studying comes to life and theory meets action. You can listen to podcasts all day long, meticulously study every grammar rule in every textbook, and diligently memorize thousands of new words, but if you do not open your mouth and actively practice speaking, your skills will simply not flourish. They will remain dormant, like seeds that never get planted in the ground, never seeing the sun. It's just like trying to learn to swim by simply reading a book about it or watching Olympic swimmers on TV. You can know all the theory, understand all the strokes, but until you actually get in the water and start moving your arms and legs, splashing and kicking, you won't learn to swim. You have to get in the water. So, let's talk about how to actually get in the water and start making waves with your English. Start by talking to yourself. Yes, really. This might sound a bit odd or even funny at first, and you might feel a little silly, but it is a fantastic, completely no pressure way to practice. Make it a daily habit to narrate your actions throughout your day. For example, as you get ready in the morning, say aloud, I'm making a cup of tea right now. First, I turn on the electric kettle. The water is getting hot. Now I'm putting the tea bag in the mug and adding a little sugar. Ah, that smells nice. A perfect start to my day. It will give me energy. Or describe the objects around you in detail. This is a blue pen. It's sitting on a sturdy wooden table. The window is open and I can hear birds singing outside. Maybe a robin or a sparrow. Their song is quite cheerful. This simple habit builds fluency, helps you remember words quickly because you're actively using them in context, and trains your brain to think directly in English without constantly translating from your native language. It helps you develop an internal monologue in English, which is a powerful step towards spontaneous, unhesitating speech. Don't worry about being perfectly correct. Just keep the words flowing and get comfortable with the sound of your own voice speaking English. Once you're a bit more comfortable talking to yourself, once that internal monologue feels a little more natural and less forced, try to find a speaking partner. This step is truly invaluable, perhaps one of the most effective and rewarding steps you can take on your language journey. It could be a language exchange partner you find online through apps designed for this purpose, like Tandem or HelloTalk, where you teach them your language and they help you with English in return. Or maybe it's a friend who also wants to practice English, someone you feel comfortable with, or even a dedicated English teacher. The main thing is to establish a safe, supportive space where you can practice without fear of judgment. Begin with simple conversations about your day, your weekend plans, your favorite food, or what you did yesterday. Then gradually move to discussing more complex topics like current events, your opinions on a book or movie you've seen, your dreams for the future, or even a challenging problem you're trying to solve. The active interaction forces you to think on your feet, respond naturally, and truly engage with the language in real time. It's like a challenging but rewarding mental workout for your English brain, constantly pushing it to perform. You learn to listen carefully for questions, formulate answers quickly, and keep the conversation flowing, adapting to what the other person says. Beyond individual partners, consider joining a conversation club or an online community focused on English practice. Many platforms and local organizations offer opportunities to join group discussions, both online via video calls and in person. This exposes you to a wider variety of accents and speaking styles, helping your ear adjust to different ways English is spoken around the world. It's important to understand different voices and rhythms. More importantly, it gives you a chance to express your opinions and ideas on diverse topics in a group setting, where the pressure to perform is shared among several people. It's a great way to build confidence when speaking in front of others, gradually moving from comfortable one-on-one interactions to comfortable group participation. Look for local English meetups in your area, perhaps at a community center or library, or explore online forums and video call groups that specialize in language exchange. Many such communities exist, offering a welcoming, judgment-free environment for learners at all stages, from beginners to advanced speakers. And don't forget to practice with specific scenarios. This technique is incredibly powerful for building practical confidence in real-life situations. Role-play common moments you might encounter in English-speaking environments. Pretend you're ordering food at a busy restaurant, asking for directions in a new city when you're a bit lost, giving a short presentation about your job or studies to a new team, or even practicing for a job interview. You can use your phone to simulate calling a customer service line and practicing typical phrases, or pretend to be at a checkout counter at a grocery store, practicing how to ask about prices or bags. You can even write short, simple dialogues for these situations, memorizing key phrases and common responses, and then practice them repeatedly until they feel natural and automatic. The more you simulate these realistic situations, the more prepared and sure of yourself you'll feel when they actually happen in real life. It removes the element of surprise and builds muscle memory for common interactions, allowing you to react quickly, clearly, and confidently when the real moment arrives. You might feel like you know many English words, perhaps thousands, from all your reading and listening, but are you actually using them when you speak? This is a common and important distinction for learners. Often people have a large, passive vocabulary. These are words they recognize perfectly well when they hear or read them. They know what they mean, but they find it hard to use these words naturally and quickly in spontaneous conversation. These words are stuck on the tip of your tongue, just out of reach when you need them most. The goal here is to move words from your passive understanding to your active speaking vocabulary, making them readily available for use whenever you open your mouth. To truly make words your own, to make them spring to mind when you need them in conversation, you must learn new words in full sentences, not in isolation. Instead of simply remembering single words from a long, alphabetical list, learn new words within full, natural sentences or common phrases. For example, don't just learn the word enthusiastic. Learn it in a phrase like, he's very enthusiastic about his new project, or she has an enthusiastic approach to learning. This method immediately helps you understand what the word truly means, how it's used with other words, and how it fits naturally into a sentence. It gives you context. Go a step further and create example sentences that are about your own life and experiences. If you just learned enthusiastic, you might say to yourself, I'm enthusiastic about my English studies because I can feel myself improving every day. Or, my friend is so enthusiastic when he talks about his travels, it makes me want to go too. This personal connection makes the word stick in your memory and makes it much easier to recall for active use later. Then, focus on common words and word pairs, also known as collocations. Start with the words and phrases you hear and read most often, as these are the fundamental building blocks for almost any conversation. These high-frequency words are your solid foundation. Beyond single words, pay close attention to collocations. These are words that naturally go together, like two friends always seen together. For example, we say, make a decision instead of do a decision, or heavy rain instead of strong rain. Other common and incredibly useful collocations include take a shower, pay attention, do homework, break a promise, catch a cold, and have a good time. Learning these natural word groups or chunks of language makes your English sound much more real, smooth, and native-like. Native speakers don't usually think in single words, they often think and speak in these common word combinations. And learning them will greatly speed up your fluency and comprehension, making you sound more like a natural speaker. Finally, and most importantly, you must actively use new words when you speak. Learning a word isn't enough. Using it is the key step to truly owning it. When you learn a new word or phrase, make a clear, conscious effort, a personal mission, to use it in your next conversation, or when you're simply talking to yourself. This deliberate effort helps solidify it in your active vocabulary, moving it from being just a concept you recognize to being a tool you can use effortlessly. For instance, if you learn the adjective meticulous, make it your goal to describe something or someone as meticulous that very same day. You might say, my friend is very meticulous about his work. He checks every tiny detail. Or, I try to be meticulous when I prepare my study schedule to make sure I don't miss anything. The more you use a new word, the more comfortable you become with it, the more it becomes a seamless, natural part of your everyday spoken English, ready to be called upon without hesitation, almost automatically. This active application is what truly embeds the vocabulary into your speaking ability. This last tip might feel a little strange. even awkward or uncomfortable at first because it involves hearing your own voice played back to you. Many people dislike the sound of their recorded voice. However, I promise you, it is an incredibly powerful way to correct yourself, to notice your own speaking patterns, and most importantly, to truly see and track your amazing progress over time. It's like having your own personal, always available language coach and performance analyst. Simply use your phone to record yourself. It's easy, it's always ready in your pocket, and it's free. Just hit record and talk for a minute or two about anything that comes to mind, what you did today, a book you're currently reading, a vivid dream you had last night, your thoughts on current news, or even just describing your room in detail, piece by piece. The specific topic isn't as important as the simple act of speaking continuously and freely. Then listen back carefully but kindly. The key here is to think about it objectively, like a detective trying to solve a puzzle, not to be too hard on yourself or overly critical. Don't get upset over every small mistake you hear. That's counterproductive. Instead, listen for exact moments where you paused for a long time, where your words weren't clear, or where you struggled to find the right words. Did you use the wrong pronunciation for a particular sound, like the T or R sounds? Did you repeat a filler word like or like too often? Did your voice sound flat? Or did it have good energy, good intonation? Make a mental note or even write down specific sentences or sounds you want to make better. This self-analysis is crucial because it provides you with clear personal targets for improvement. It shines a light on your specific areas of need, showing you exactly where to focus your next practice session. And here's a very important part. Focus on one or two things to improve at a time. Don't try to fix everything at once. That can be incredibly overwhelming and make you feel like giving up on the whole process. If you try to fix your grammar, pronunciation, speaking speed, and vocabulary all in one go, you'll likely feel defeated and frustrated. Instead, choose one or two small, manageable goals for each recording session. For example, for this week, your goal might be to focus only on connecting words more smoothly, or on clearly saying the sounds, or perhaps correctly using a specific past tense like the present perfect. Once you feel good about that one thing, once you've made noticeable progress, then you can move to the next small goal. Small, steady improvements, adding up consistently over time, will lead to truly big results. Think of it like fine-tuning your musical instrument little by little, adjusting each string until it plays a beautiful, harmonious song. You're carefully refining your personal English instrument, your voice. All right, my amazing learners, let's put some of this into practice right now. This is your moment to shine, even if it's just for yourself in the privacy of your own space. I'm going to give you something to talk about, and I want you to pause this episode right here and say your answer out loud. Remember, don't worry about being perfect. Just speak. Allow yourself to be imperfect. Allow yourself to learn and grow without fear. This is your safe space to practice. Prompt. Describe your favorite hobby or something you really love doing. Think about all the interesting details. Why do you enjoy it so much? How does it truly make you feel when you're doing it? What materials or tools do you use for this hobby? Who do you usually do it with? Or do you prefer to do it alone? When do you usually find time for it? And how often? And what makes this particular activity so special and meaningful to you? Take a good minute or two to speak your answer aloud. Give yourself that time to explore your thoughts in English. Welcome back. How did that feel? Even if it was just a few sentences, even if you stopped a bit, even if you made a mistake or two, you spoke in English, and that is a huge win. That is real progress. Every single time you open your mouth and say something in English, you are actively getting better. You are stretching your language muscles, pushing your boundaries, and you're moving closer to speaking smoothly and confidently. Celebrate these small victories because they are the vital building blocks of your eventual success. Each spoken word, each attempt is a powerful step forward. Improving your English speaking skills is a long, rewarding journey, not a sudden, magical transformation where you arrive at a fixed destination overnight. There will be good days, days where the words seem to flow easily and effortlessly, where conversations feel natural and fun, almost like you're not even thinking about the language. And then there will be tough days, days where you feel stuck, where words seem to disappear from your mind, or where you get frustrated with your progress. This up and down experience is completely normal and an expected part of any learning process. The single most important thing, the true secret to long term success in speaking, is doing it regularly in one word: consistency. You absolutely do not need to dedicate hours every single day. That's often unrealistic and unsustainable for most people's busy lives. Instead, start small but be utterly consistent. Make it a non negotiable part of your routine. Dedicate even just 10 to 15 minutes every single day to active speaking practice, intentional listening, or focused vocabulary building. You can break it into even smaller parts during your day. 5 minutes while you're waiting for coffee, 10 minutes during your commute on the bus or train, or a quick 2 minutes before you go to bed, reviewing new words or practicing a tricky sentence. These small, consistent efforts compound over time, building on each other like tiny bricks forming a strong, beautiful wall. Think of it like saving money. A little bit every day, consistently, adds up to a large sum over months and years. Your brain learns best with regular spaced repetition, not just huge, infrequent bursts of effort. It's the steady rain that makes the garden grow and flourish, not just a few big storms. Over time, perhaps a few weeks or a few months from now, you will genuinely be amazed at how much more confident, smooth, and clear you become. You'll notice words coming to you faster, sentences forming more easily in your mind, and your initial fear of speaking shrinking, becoming a distant memory, replaced by a quiet confidence. This incredible transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it absolutely happens with consistent, purposeful effort. It's a gradual but powerful shift that will open up new worlds for you. Remember, your voice matters, your ideas are important, and your ability to express yourself clearly and confidently in English is absolutely within your reach. Every step, no matter how small, counts. Keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. You are capable of achieving great things with your English, and I'm here to help you every step of the way. That's all for today's episode of English in Advance. Join me next time for more tips and ideas to boost your English skills even further. Until then, happy speaking and keep shining.